So I invite Marcel Pirlich from Adspert and Alexander Kubaneishvili from Google to join us, and let's start a kind of a discussion. Probably we can start with your questions, because here you see two different but very interesting concepts which do really work. The first presentation was about some future of the future, and it was really great. And the second presentation shows that the traditional methods are working very well, and since the final mobile revolution hasn't come, you can use the traditional channels as SMS or USSD or whatever, and it works extremely good. What I would add from myself is that the key things which I see in both presentations are two. One is that the thinking that the clients and the agencies wanted to think don't want to do a routine job. This is number one. And number two is that they all want result, and the result is the key measure of everything. So, do you have any questions, or we can exchange some? Do you have any to the speakers, please? Okay. So, colleagues, since there are no questions, since your presentation were quite long, so let's discuss. What do you think? What's your feeling of the international market in terms of how quick is it growing? Which countries are leading ones? Who is the trendsetters? Please, who can say a few words, please?
Maybe I can take this and build on also on a bit what you just mentioned. So I wouldn't say it's future because all the cases I've been showing are real life campaigns.
Sure, but it's
and they are 1 or 2 years old in some cases. So I think it really
past.
Building the future, right, from the past. No, but I think the point is really. Key point is which market are you targeting, and what product are you also trying to bring. If you bring a drink, be it a beer or a soft drink or FMCG good, I think then a traditional way of SMS and USSD codes, so really something you can reach every single mobile phone, and is a perfect way to go, and it's the only way probably also to go. And that's only the case here for Russia. I mean, I see quite good in the Asian market. If you go into a country like Indonesia, Philippines, Malaysia, it's the same thing. Yeah? If you want to reach the mass customer there, you have to go with SMS and very basic mobile marketing activity. Yet when you then go into the more developed countries in terms of mobile again, and those are already Indonesia, for example, Turkey, surprisingly, UK, those are the markets where then things you've been seeing, or Korea with the scanning and all that, Japan. I mean, each of those markets have their specialties and their special kind of twist to it, and things you have to take care of, but that's where you can go more for smartphones and more for the advanced things. So key thing is really what product are you advertising and what market are you in, and then you can have to decide how futurist you want to be, and you can be actually.
What about the German market? Since you represent Germany partly.
I'm technically German, that's all. In terms of what we do, the German market is a very difficult one because the Germans are all very anxious about location and privacy. So when it's about sharing location, Germany is actually a worse market than the other advanced markets, I have to say. So it's really more Asian markets. Again, the UK is very liberal on that. Australia, we run a lot of location-based campaigns. The US, where the privacy laws are in place, but yet not as strict, and especially the mindset of the people is not there. The mindset is not that limited in terms of, yes, I share my location because I can get an advantage of it.
I see, thank you. What do you think?
I mean, the basic question I think is when is mobile advertising taking off? And since we are in Russia, when is it taking off in Russia? And maybe to ask a question to the audience: who's using mobile advertising already to sell his product? Hands up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
More over there.
6. Okay, so not pretty many people are using mobile advertising yet, and obviously there's a reason for it. And if I compare to how it happened in Germany, I would say now we are at an okay level. It's not a big thing yet, although everybody, or we have a smartphone penetration of around about 75-80%. Nobody's really, or let's say the budgets are not yet going there, although the eyeballs are already on the mobile. So actually that's a strange development so far.
Can I ask another question? Who is using the smartphone in this audience? Who is not using? So everybody's using a smartphone.
So actually, I mean, the people in here are maybe not the right measure for our whole country, but still, it's like in Germany we have 80% smartphone penetration. So actually, you have to assume that big budgets should go to mobile, which is not yet the case. The question is why. I think one reason is that many people are just trialing out and don't know or don't understand the complexity of the mobile process. And we saw in the examples that you not only need to have a banner which is matching the mobile formats of the different mobile devices, but also you need to have the process behind, like the landing page. If you have a payment process, it should work on a mobile phone and all these kind of things. And I think, let's say, that's the feedback that I was getting, that many people fear the complexity of the mobile marketing, which is, let's say, the process behind the banner ad.
So I think that the complexity doesn't cost it, because anyway, there is some complexity, but it's not so difficult.
Well, you can launch it like Singtel and then have a non-optimized landing page and you waste the money. I mean,
yeah, sure. I understand, but the same was in press, the same was in outdoor. If you did a poor creative job for outdoor, it's also not working. So all the people who work in advertising understand that. If you do a poor commercial, it's not working on TV. So it's the same.
So why do they still do it?
My opinion is just because the people as they are quite conservative. Because of course you can understand that internet or mobile advertising is more effective than television, but still more money goes to television.
I think that's basically what I was saying. It's let's say people know how to do TV advertising, but they didn't yet understand how to do mobile advertising, that you have to do a little bit more in developments, that the process to like how to guide the consumer is more complex. And to be honest, for me, the most important point where I thought like, okay, in Germany we are almost there, and let's say the usage and the budgets going to mobile will accelerate, it was the moment when my dad got an iPhone. That was actually the moment where I thought, okay, now we are there, now we got it. And if I see him using it, and he's like 70 now, for him it's no problem. Like with, if you look at kids using touchscreens, it's amazing how quick they are on it. And I think it's just a matter of people getting used to it, and the more they get used to the, let's say, advantages of the smartphones, and the more they use it, the easier it will be to sell and use mobile advertising.
But sorry, just to add on one more thing. I think it's not only the phones and the usage, but it's also a price point. Google has made actually in Asia an interesting study about the price point for mobile internet and how it takes off then and how it builds a foundation for mobile advertising. And they found that if the daily access to mobile internet is less than 5% of your disposable income, then it starts really to take off the usage of mobile internet. Indonesia has done that, for example. Indonesia is big in mobile. I mean, 90% of the tweets, for example, in Indonesia comes from a mobile device versus about 40% on average. So that is something which here in Russia probably has also to develop further. I mean, I got here for 3 GB for 600 rubles, I think, which is 2 times the train ride to the airport. This is something which can come down further in order to really be able to take off and to get more widespread that people not only in Moscow and in St. Petersburg use mobile internet. So I think that's maybe something else you can
the general situation in Russia that you pay actually a lot more for telecom services than in Western Europe or in the US. So it's not only a problem of internet, but voice data, SMS, and all the rest. The thing that we see in Russia is that mobile internet is actually growing, and the growth comes from regions and also from feature phones. Because it's actually cheaper to access internet on feature phone than buy a big PC. It's more or less expensive. Tablets are still expensive, even though it's growing massively. And I want to be a TV advocate here and say that big advertisers, they use TV because it really brings results, and they have the whole link. They understand how TV advertising is influencing sales. So we, as digital players, will it be like so-called big internet or mobile internet, we still have to prove that we can actually increase sales for big advertisers. Another interesting trend is there are actually plenty of advertisers that advertise on mobile, but they don't know that they advertise on mobile. For example, YouTube advertisers, they advertise, they place campaigns with pre-rolls, but they don't know that 25% of the traffic comes from mobile. So they actually do mobile advertising.
And what would happen if they know?
Now the budget.
The same budget.
Yeah, I mean, it's good and bad. It's good because you don't really need to push mobile advertising. You just switch campaign on YouTube or on some advertising network, or you place campaign in search, and also 20% of all your search results will be on mobile devices. So you don't need to make a sales effort to sell mobile. But on the other hand, it creates some lack of awareness, and because they don't know that there is a mobile advertising world over there. They think it's still YouTube, search, or whatever else.
Can I add thing? I was thinking about the effectiveness of traditional medias. The thing is that if we compare the knowledge of traditional medias about their users and the internet/mobile internet knowledge, it's uncomparable. If we compare the trackable result, it's uncomparable. Which means that for Russia, television is about 50-56% of all money. Which means that the people are spending more than half of the money of the country, billions of dollars, into partly trackable, old, shabby stuff. Because if, for example, if we ask, do you know many people who don't have a telephone? Not so many. Do you know people who don't watch TV? Yes, definitely, because there's nothing to watch there. So, but still, 56% of the money goes to television.
Yeah, well, there's a simple explanation that actually the people who sell the TV, they actually really do measure the effect. So they easily can explain you, if you'd like to have 1 million coverage, how much money you have to spend, and what compare. Depending from your goals, they easily explain you how much money you have to spend.
Yeah, but coverage doesn't mean sales. Coverage is coverage.
Yeah, but there is a different purpose for the brand. There are different purpose for the brand. I would say that actually, if we compare Russia with other countries, with the first part of your question, so we really differently imagine countries. We are very close to the Brazil, to the some part of Asia countries in terms of how we use the mobile and what is mobile technology is most popular here, and partly the India. And if we are talking about the budgets, and if we are talking about how to better sell the mobile advertising, actually, I would say that it will definitely grow in a couple of years, because the brands has to include mobile marketing in their marketing mix. Otherwise, they will lose some part of sales. They will lose some part of their audience, especially the brands who work with the young people and etc. But from other side, the players who run this market has to create the really simple and really effective system which is measure the efficiency. Everyone, Google, like Brandtone, like any company who really brings some expertise to Russia, have to create a system which is really explain how money you have to invest to increase the sales, to increase the brand affinity, and etc. So this is a very good point from all of industry here. If you want to that, it's actually get these billions of rubles and spend on mobile, as in Germany, for example, as in other Europe countries. So we have to really work together with the
running, and they put a Shazam logo on top of the TV commercial. They make you listen to that TV commercial, and by the audio tag you have in the commercial, you then get to a landing page or more information, or can eventually even close a sale. So you start to make TV a bi-directional one instead of a one-directional one. You start to make it more measurable, and you start to make it really comparable to results, which helps first, I think, to drive more digital and eventually shift more budget over to that as well. Because reality is 25% of our time, of media time, is today on mobile versus TV, print, radio, and online, and only 1% of the ad spending is happening on mobile so far.
In Russia, it's even less than 1% of probably spending.
Actually, I'm a bit confused because it seems that you guys are not really happy with the way your services are being sold. I mean, mobile advertising. Because what we see
I'm not saying not happy.
Yeah, I mean, the market is here. It's already here. The money is on the market. It's very high-growing market. My first encounter with mobile advertising was back in 2007, and there was no market at all by that time. So I think it's doing pretty well right now. And what is more important, there is a very strong consumer trend towards smartphones, tablets. PC growth is not, well, it's slowing down on mature market. The same trend is going in Russia. PC sales are going down and tablet sales are going. If you had a chance to be in Moscow subway, you can see a lot of people reading books, watching videos from tablets, smartphones, and so on. So the trend is here. We just have to be more assertive in sales and a bit patient.
Yeah, but still, anyway, you are totally right. But if you see the percentage of money which goes to radio or press or outdoor, you can't compare it with the mobile advertising. This is the question.
I think if you do the good job, the money will come to this market. That's the point, I would say.
That's a very fair point, and I think there's, and a bit to Keith's point from this morning, I mean, today we talk about mobile advertising as plain banner ads. Location targeted, yes, make them more relevant, but I think the reality is you need to be way more engaging, and there are so great examples. I mean, what I just said about Shazam or Rovio, I think, well, you come up in a second, but I saw one thing where check-in at a McDonald's unlocks a different level in Rovio in Angry Birds, which you wouldn't get. So I mean, this is super engaging. This is brand building for McDonald's. This is increasing number of usage in place of Angry Birds levels. These type of mobile advertising, mobile marketing, this is what needs to come more. The challenge is it's difficult to scale. Yeah, I mean, if you have big user numbers, then you can do it in China, for example. But in other markets, you need to do something with an app developer who is successful to get a scalable result.
Yeah, right. The engagement probably the key function of mobility, because we can engage as any other media in the world. You know, the traditional media can't do this. The engagement in mobile, in the traditional mobile, in the apps, everywhere, it should be some kind of the driver for the consumers to be close to the brands and buy the brands. This is what they can do in mobile.
Totally agree.
Thank you very much for everybody. Thank you for Dmitry, for moderating, for our speakers. I suppose that mobile advertising is a subject which you can talk and talk and talk and talk and talk.
Next conference will be only mobile advertising.
And then measure, measure, and measure. That will be the next step. Big applause to our speakers, experts.